On July 1st, 1867, the Dominion of Canada was formed. The name Canada is now generally accepted as originating from the St. Lawrence Iroquoian word Kanata, or Canada, meaning village or settlement. Though a nation on paper and in the hearts of its citizens, there was still so much to be done to build the caring, confident Canada we know and love. From the country's first official days and over the next 150 years, Canada's Catholic women and men religious, working together with innumerable individuals and groups, provided care to Canadians, including our country's most vulnerable. Theirs is a tapestry of countless stories, stories of faithful service from the women and men who formed hundreds of religious congregations in small, remote villages and big cities, and from coast to coast to coast, serving in many languages. Those called to serve did so in the spirit of their faith and to support their communities, their neighbors, and their country. If asked, many would say they simply responded to their calling and were happy to serve, to share their faith and spiritual teachings and help those in need. They also nourished and nurtured the roots of this great nation for the last century and a half. In times of war and in times of peace, in times of prosperity and through economic hardships, they provided desperately needed social safety nets when few alternatives existed. They cared for those who were sick, those who were poor, the orphans, single mothers and their children, newcomers, senior citizens, and those suffering from addictions and mental health issues. When it was called for, Canada's women and men religious took to the streets to raise their voices to protest against injustice, cruelty, and inhumane practices like human trafficking. They championed respect for the rights of women and the environment. So many aspects of Canadian society were, and still are, impacted by their collaborations and their good works. In partnership with others, they aided local economies by opening co-ops and credit unions to help people get a start in life and become self-sufficient. They provided hostels and residences for women in need and opened soup kitchens, food banks, and missions to feed the hungry and shelter the homeless. When there was a great need to help newly arrived Canadians integrate, adjust, and survive, the congregations offered their support and guidance, and when possible, provided low-cost housing. For decades, sisters, working as Catholic port workers in unison with others, welcomed thousands of newcomers at the ports of Halifax, Pier 21, where a museum now marks their contribution. They founded and established hospitals and schools of nursing in order to provide frontline care. They opened palliative care facilities and cared for seniors. Their initiative and contribution to education will leave an incredible legacy. Over the years, they founded elementary schools, high schools, and post-secondary institutions across the country. Brothers and sisters were educators and devoted teachers, with some working in one-room schoolhouses in rural communities in the prairies and the far north. As circumstances changed, some of these works were transferred to others. They also spread their good works to other countries by doing missionary work and by representing Canada in some of the poorest parts of the globe. Today, Canada's women and men religious continue to evolve and adapt to serve the needs of Canadians. Most recently, they have opened their arms and hearts to help Syrian newcomers displaced by years of civil war and strife. As we celebrate Canada's 150th birthday, let us take a moment to recognize the countless men and women who, in collaboration with so many others, improved the soul and spirit of our great nation by caring for our citizens with faith, compassion, altruism, and love. Happy 150th birthday, Canada.